Chapter 248, The Darkness Confusion. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Who else but the students of the Prime Minister would dare to call on the army-guarding Marquis? I will go ask the arm-guarding Marquis. The beard elder promptly saluted Zhang Yuochen. Shortly after, he left the elegance hall and dispatched a trusted soldier to ask the army-guarding Marquis to come. Though he had not yet confirmed the identity of this mysterious teenager, the left Prime Minister was by no means someone he could offend. Even the slimmest chance this was his true identity warranted the invitation of the army-guarding Marquis. Even if this mysterious teenager was suspicious, the army-guarding Marquis, a martial arts legend in the Heaven Realm, was too powerful for a teenager like Liu Xin to threaten. For this reason, asking the army-guarding Marquis to come was still a wise decision. When the beard elder dispatched his follower to ask for the army-guarding Marquis, Zhang Yuochen whispered something to Hu Buai. Upon hearing his words, Hu Buai's heart pounded heavily. He stared at Zhang Yuochen with astonishment. Zhang Yuochen nodded. "You may leave now," he said to Huang Buai. Hu Buai clenched his fists and left the Rosefinch Tower at once. Zhang Yuochen planned to kill the army-guarding Marquis as quickly as he could the moment he arrived at the Rosefinch Tower. Then he would escape from the black market before the array was set off. Since Zhang Yuochen was going to kill the Marquis, Hu Buai naturally had to leave first, lest he be left behind to die after Zhang Yuochen's departure. In the event his plan failed, Zhang Yuochen also commanded Hu Buai to destroy the defender array powering the Martial Market Bank in the black market at any cost. Once the defender array was destroyed, no one could stop Zhang Yuochen from leaving the black market. The central reason for this plan lied in the fact that Zhang Yuochen was unsure about the real strength of the army-guarding Marquis. He only knew that the martial cultivation of the army-guarding Marquis had reached the initial stage of the Heaven Realm. However, there remained a huge gap among those who had cultivated to different stages of the Heaven Realm, who knew how far the Marquis had progressed in that realm. With my present strength, if I can get within 33 meters and launch a hidden attack towards the army-guarding Marquis, I have a good chance of killing him in a single stroke. However, if I fail to kill him in one move, I'll be trapped in a protracted battle with him. If the black market defender array is switched on, then the odds will not be in my favor. The odds that I can fight and kill this martial arts legend from the Heaven Realm are 80%, it's a chance worth taking. Moreover, if the defender array can be destroyed, I'll have an even greater chance of killing the army-guarding Marquis. Why did you ask Hu Buai to leave? Elder Wai asked Liu Xin out of curiosity. Zhang Yuochen mulled over Elder Wai's question, then smiled and answered in an unhurried manner. Buying out the city would cost a large amount of silver coins, too many coins for me to carry everywhere on my person. For that reason I asked Hu Buai to fetch me the advance payment. Take it easy, Elder Wai, the money needed to buy out 10 cities is only a drop in the ocean for the left Prime Minister's wealth. Elder Wai ignored the sudden, persistent feeling that something was off about this situation. They had negotiated with each other in the black market, and the army-guarding Marquis had cultivated himself into a martial arts legend of the Heaven Realm. How, then, would Liu Xin dare to break his word? As he left through the main gates, Hu Buai turned and gave the Rosefinch Tower an emotional look. He exhaled a deep breath. Liu Xin is a really big figure, he thought. The whole black market must be in an uproar. I need to hurry and fulfill my task. Swoosh! The piercing sound of a sword whistled past his ears. Before he could turn his head around, he felt the sting of bitter cold on his neck. A cold sword was being held at his throat. The icing air emanating from the sword tip very nearly froze his blood. Hanku stood before Hu Buai. Stood Hanku, a sharp gleam in her eyes. Glittering jade sword in hand, Hanku spoke with a cold voice. Do not speak. You'd better follow me if you don't want to be killed. Hu Buai was frightened by her cool attitude. He straightened his posture and nodded eagerly. Hanku was dressed in tidy black. A band bound her raven hair into a courtly bun atop her head. She was a fair-featured maiden, with rosy lips and pearly white teeth. Her choice of clothes made her resemble a graceful young man. Hanku brought Hu Buai to an alley not far from the Rosefinch Tower. She moved her arm slightly, leaving a scratch on Hu Buai's neck. With a yelp, Hu Buai went down on his knees and frantically searched through his sleeves. After a moment, He pulled out an enormous amount of silver coins that he handed to Hanku. "These silver coins are all that I have," he blubbered. "Please let me go. Please." Hanku frowned at him disdainfully. "Who told you I want your silver coins?" she said. "I just want you to answer my question. Who is the teenager in the metal mask? If you can answer me, I'll let you go." "I have no idea," Huboy honestly replied. He truly knew nothing about Zhang Yuochen, save that he must be a big figure from the Martial Market Bank. This wasn't information he could tell others by any means. "You have no idea?" Hanku kicked Huboy down to the ground and pointed her sword at his face. In a threatening tone, she spoke. "Do you have any doubt that I could cripple your martial cultivation right this instant?" "No, I don't doubt it. I'll talk. Huboy thought quickly as he sat up from the ground. Actually, he is the student of the left Prime Minister from Cayenne's Yui Commandery. His name is Liu Xin. Huboy knew all about the fake identity of Liu Xin, so he told Hanku without hesitation. "The student of the left Prime Minister?" If what Huboy said is true, why does this teenager feel so familiar to me? Suspicious of Huboy's words, Hanku was lost in thought. Seeing Hanku lost in thought, Huboy suddenly sprang to his feet from the ground and rushed out of the alley. He needed to arrange for the defender array to be destroyed. For that reason, he had no time to hang around this place. Although it was almost impossible for him to destroy the array, he had to give it his all anyway. Hanku snorted at him. "How dare you try to escape with such a low cultivation?" she said. "Freeze!" Swish! She stretched out her arm and thrust her palm out at the air. Black genuine she poured from her hand, wrapping itself around Huboy, who had already run 10 meters away. Huboy, seemingly trapped in a cold mire, began to run slower and slower. In the end, he could not even move. All he could do was stare at Hanku with a dumbfounded look. Has she become a martial arts legend? Hanku thought. Darkness, confusion. Hanku walked in front of Huboy and stared into his eyes, using a martial technique that could disturb the mind and spirit of a warrior. Only warriors who had activated the sacred mark of the Dark Series could successfully practice this uncanny technique. "Now you will answer my questions," Hanku said to Huboy. The black genuine she began to invade Huboy's globula. Huboy's thoughts grew muddled and dull. All he could do was nod his head like a puppet. "Who on earth is the teenager in the metal mask?" Hanku asked. "I don't know," Huboy replied, shaking his head. Hanku frowned in disappointment. "How do you know him?" she went on to ask. "Deacon Zelf from the Martial Market Bank asked me to bring him here," Huboy replied. "He said the teenager was a respected guest." The Martial Market Bank. Hanku was cheered by the clue she received from Huboy. No wonder that he felt so familiar, she thought, eyes flashing. He may be a talented internal student from the Martial Market Bank. She continued to stare at Huboy. "Why did you leave the Rose Finch Tower?" she asked. "Where are you going?" "He is going to kill the army guarding Marquis. He ordered me to dispatch all the power of the Martial Market Bank in the black market in order to destroy the defender array at any cost," Huboy replied. "He intends to kill the army guarding Marquis in the black market? How daring!" Hanku smiled coldly, a serious look falling across her face. If he was an internal student of the Martial Market Bank, why did he seek to kill the army guarding Marquis? She was reminded of the words uttered by the mysterious teenager who had gotten an account book in the underground secret room. He claimed that the Square Commandery had been colluding with the poisonous Spider Club. Initially, Hanku couldn't bring herself to believe these words. However, now that she knew he was going to kill the army guarding Marquis in the black market, uncertainty filled her heart. Perhaps his words were true. Had the Square Commandery been colluding with the poisonous Spider Club? Hanku kept asking question. Why is the army guarding Marquis coming to the black market? He is prepared to sell off a city to the poisonous Spider Club. Mr. Chen wants to search for proof that he has been colluding with the poisonous Spider Club. That's why he's pretending to be a student of the left Prime Minister who will meet up with the army guarding Marquis in preparation to buy out the city. Hanku was a bit distracted by Huboy's words. She stopped using her darkness confusion martial technique and clenched her fists, her eyes growing horribly cold. Damn! How dare the army guarding Marquis collude with the poisonous Spider Club? He even has the audacity to sell the city off. The square commandery had been under the control of the Yuntai suzerain this whole time. However, the square commandery was now colluding with the black market without the permission of Yuntai suzerain. Once the Marshall Market Bank obtained the requisite evidence, it would present it to the East Regent Saint Mansions. Would the East Regent Saint Mansions think that the Yuntai suzerain was colluding with the black market? This situation was by no means a trivial matter. Now that the mysterious teenager had obtained the evidence, it was just a matter of time before he sent the account book back to Devil Marshall City. How could she salvage this situation now? Hanku had two options. First, she could ally with the army guarding Marquis to kill the mysterious teenager and seize back the account book. This way, she could simplify this complex situation before reporting it to the high-level members of the Yuntai suzerain, who would handle everything else. Second, she could help the mysterious teenager kill the army guarding Marquis, after which she could go with him to Devil Marshall City and explain the whole affair to the high-level members of the Marshall Market Bank that it was not the Yuntai suzerain but the square commandery that had been colluding with the poisonous Spider Club. If she chose the first option, she would be forced to collude with the black market, even if the Yuntai suzerain had no relations with them. She was currently with the black market. If she allied with the army guarding Marquis to kill Zhang Yuochen, the Marquis and the black market masters would possibly kill her in order to stop her from revealing their secret collusions. Weighing up all the advantages and disadvantages, Hanku chose the second option. She would help Zhang Yuochen kill the army guarding Marquis. Destroying the Defender takes top priority. She decided in her mind. Upon stirring awake, Hubuai looked at Hanku with astonishment. What did I say just now? He stuttered. Nothing. A twinkle in her eyes, Hanku flashed him a charming smile and walked towards the array in the direction of the black market towers without any hesitation.